Alrighty, we are back. I'll turn off the... Okay, no, it's already off. Okay, good. How's it going, Citizen DJ? Welcome, welcome. Today we're kind of just going forward with the plan of putting together a fully playable vertical slice. I want to try to get into tier 1 mining mechanics sometime in the next few weeks. We're still going to be doing a lot more level design. It's going to be kind of annoying. Going to go through what I was going to do on last stream, which was resize a lot of the shops to be 8 meters wide for the small, 16 for the medium, and 24 for the large, with 32 for super large hospital style modules, which would consume like a full, what I call a mall block. So standardization is going to be key to a lot of this stuff. So that's kind of what we're going to be working with here. I've already started working on some of these. Going to bring them up to the main screen here. Maybe we'll do this in 16:9. And let me bring up my preview, and we'll kind of go from here. How's your day or evening going? Right, it says like the noodle bar. A lot of this never reached final art, and a lot of it probably doesn't really need to reach final art, but we need to redo these templates. Yeah, like all these stools, they can be actually brought down to their own. The old gray box. Yeah, 6 is too small. That was the TLDR. They were originally 5 meters wide for the shops, which I thought would be fine enough for them, but realized we needed a bit more breathing room. I guess we did want them to be a little bit bigger. So now we're just kind of redoing all of this stuff. Now redoing stations, a lot of Blender. So, it is what it is. So we need B6. And the biggest reason is kind of making it a little bit easier for buying and selling components. Most physical components are 2 meters wide at the most, so they need to fit right within the 1 meter space. So I've already given it 0.5 padding just through the design of things, but in reality, now that time has gone by, we've kind of realized that we really need to kind of change some of this up a little bit. So that's what we're going to be doing. Oh, actually, that's not what I wanted to do. I just realized. Hey, Munglo. I can swing and hit some things. Cool. But hitting and transferring forces to other players and due to multiplayer takes some effort. I gotcha. You organized asset library today? No, I've been rebuilding the asset library since I reformatted. Because I lost the asset library indexes, like all the files I still have, but just like the location of the asset library and its configuration. So I've had to regenerate a lot of the thumbnails. I've been redoing it. The asset library now exists on my server. So, and there's I have two 4 terabytes NVMe and a mirror now running on the for the server for everything, and I have backup, like a cold backup on a 5 terabyte. So, you know, should be fine. How's it going, Aloner Wolf? Alright, so now now we gotta go through and kind of do what we were doing. So let me kind of show you the problem from before. I've had so much stuff open. Where's like the recent list? So in the old one, the 6 meters made a lot of the alignment for like what I'm doing for like internal modules. Like I want all the modules to be 8 meters. So that way, like my thought process, but the way I'm going to do these is I'm going to have like a 1 meter buffer on each side. So like these can be socketed into regular aspects in the station. So they can be kind of spread out randomly as well as put into a mall configuration. So there's actually like an endpoint or like a node, you know, hallway node that these can, you know, like integrate into or socket into, and it'll mean that, like, you know, in certain areas of the station when I'm generating them, I can generate different little shops, you know, throughout. And then I also want to do a micro version, like a newsstand version, which is a 4 meter wide one. So by changing small to be 8 meters, medium 16, and large, you know, 24, it just standardizes like how these get snapped in place and their positioning, and makes the whole thing great. And for newsstands, or what I call kiosks, you know, the kiosks will be like doubles, right? So there'll be like two small kiosks in one zone, right? And thankfully I made them 16 wide, so the depth I actually like. So they make it easier to route around, right? Like with other modules, and to integrate them into the randomization. So just think of it like your dungeon generator, only I'm using 8x8x8s. Well, really 8x8x6s, because I realized that 6 meters, like 8 meters is too tall, right? So they're 6 meters tall with a 0.5 depth, but the floor is from the top down. So there's like, you know, a ceiling is 0.5 into the first module, and then the next module starts flat. Yeah, like non-uniform cubes. Yep, right. So this will standardize the heights for the elevator system, and just make it much easier, unless you have defined cubes, which we don't. Like, we don't. Well, the padding is internal. You know what I mean? Like, it's just to give it space. Because there's like a little airlock system, so there's like a 0.5 coming in around. It'll make sense when you see what I'm doing with the other with the prototype. I think I put it under like gray box or something. Cargo groups, nope. Allows for like, yeah, traps, alcoves, without like intruding into the other side. Yep. If I can find, let me go to everything here, take a look. Station gray box blocks. I'm looking at the autosave. I don't see where I put this, but this is kind of... These are the bigger modules that I'm kind of playing with here. You're looking for a link? I'm just looking for the blend file that we were working on yesterday. I found like the autosaves for it, but it's just called Station Gray Box Blocks. V2 hangars. If you have it linked to a different blend file, then you can find the path in Outline. Gotcha. I don't think it's linked anywhere. Alright, V2 is there. These are all of our blocks. Alright, so this is like the issue. So the issue that I had is with this new hangar system. So like, here's a prototype. Right. We now have this storage system for ships to be stored. And I like it. You know what I mean? And it doesn't need to have any visual indication underneath. It can be like, you know, like what happens to the ship once it's stored. Maybe it goes down into the station. Right? Maybe it gets moved into some valet underneath, like anything at all, right? Like it's all open to interpolation because the player doesn't experience that. But with the hangars being 32 meters, to do all the gameplay that I want, right? Like all the space is pretty much consumed the way that I wanted. And I like the layout here. I think all of this is fantastic. It's very simple angles. It can be redone, you know, like the form of this can be changed. This is very boxy. And the idea is, you know, we can kind of integrate this with the rest of the station. So what I want it to do, because the rooms are so tiny, I mean, they're not tiny, but they're tiny in retrospect. I want to kind of make these little plugs where these can socket into and, you know, be within the 1 meters, right, that we kind of work with. So, you know, these are all 8 meter rooms. Thanks for the follow, Lipsray. Or Lip SRE, or is it Lipe? Maybe we'll call you Lipe. Let me know if you're, how you pronounce your name. Right, so putting them in between kind of works. But ultimately, not really liking it. Doesn't give us much definition for like a large station, right? So not 100% with it, right? So liking a lot of this. If we can go to the side here, like having the transparency, being able to kind of be on the first floor here. I think this works, right? As an alpha, this is fine, right? And then there's gonna be more decoration, like more structure underneath, right? Supporting the upper, you know, feeling, but this is nice. Just, you know, overall simple design, but kind of digging it. But overall, it makes it very difficult to make a station, right? Because, I mean, it's just a T at this point, or like a cross or something, but not liking it. So made me think about the main build and how in my test scene, when I designed the medical module, right, I needed to put these rooms in place. And I'm like, wait a second, I've kind of already solved this, right? Because I realized a long time ago that the stations were kind of big. Right, and I ultimately want to have rings for everything anyway. right? Like ring stations. But we need to change a few things to make this whole concept work. We need to like theoretically solve how these are all connected together, and then we also need to solve like, you know, how does this work elevator wise, right? Like in this test example, we have very limited elevator support, which is kind of not really going to do it, right? For a station that has multiple segments and can be all put together, right? Not really going to fly, but ultimately how I want to do it is have these big stations. So I think we're gonna copy this, and we're gonna make a commerce version, a commerce, like, you know, ring, right? Which will have, you know, 4 primary landing bays, which is kind of what we wanted anyway. Like just for this truck stop, we wanted, you know, 4 landing bays. We wanted just to have around, you know, 16, like 8, 16, 24, you know, habitation modules, right, for staff and stuff like that. Because remember, the idea is for each one of these there should be 2 or 3 or 4 ships maybe that's actually being stored, right? So it's just 4 of them are, you know, serviceable at the same time, but the total number of ships that can be stored should be, you know, theoretically a lot more. So I like, though, standardizing all of these compartment modules, right? So they're little modules that we can express, you know, there's life support systems, there's some design, we have some vending machine possibilities and suit lockers, you know, we'll create a custom flooring paneling system where we'll kind of extend the flooring system out for the vending machines, but we'll also kind of like leave, you know, there'll be kind of like a cross pattern where we have like heavy traffic support structure with, you know, some transparency where you can look underneath, and we'll have some normals down there, we'll have some wiring and stuff like that. I can kind of already see like how I want to like make these, but I want them to be, you know, stackable. We kind of, you know, create a couple of these in different variations, and then, you know, there would only be really 2 or 3 or 4 different sets of mesh data that would just be copied. Like, you know, it should be pretty same game object, right? Just being, you know, moved around, and it should just kind of, you know, work for what we're looking for. And we can create different designs. The idea is like, if we know these modules are 8 meters, or combinations of 8 meters, like a long hallway can exist, or, you know, wide hallway, and it can all join together. We should have enough freedom to create different expression between the different modules and the different types of brand manufacturers, and it should still be easy to scale, right? It's just scalability is the thing here. So that's the, you know, this is where I left off a couple days ago, and now I'm like, oh, okay, maybe we're not going to do that. Maybe we're going to I want to redo the medical module. So, because things have changed, like the scale of things, like these are 16 meters wide, which aligns itself perfectly. There should be 2 of these for every one of these, right? The way that these are all spread out is kind of random. Let's unify a lot of this. Like the floor difference is too high, unnecessary, right? But how this appears to a player, right? Like when I'm kind of like in one of these modules, and I'm looking out and I'm getting that sense of scale, especially once we had detail, like, you know, like detail to the inside of the rings, and you kind of realize like, holy crap, like I'm on like a hospital. I think a variation of this for commerce absolutely works. And then, you know, a very basic station is just a ring station that just has a, you know, 1 or 2 commerce modules attached, and different configurations. Like we can add the satellite module for the communications array, you know, and different longer elongated pieces. So when you start kind of seeing this in total, like, you know, they'll be kind of rotated, you know, and a lot longer spire components on each side with their different configurations. So, right, so that's the thought process anyway of what I want to go with it. And there's still like room then for different truck stops, but I might change the way that they're done. I think so. And not only that, I want there to be missions for the player, like when their ship is actually destroyed or in a down state, to go do little things like that. Right? It'll be like welding, panels and all that, like little job oriented tasks. Because you won't always have like credits to kind of do what you want to do. Like shit can go wrong. And if stuff goes wrong, you're kind of doing box delivery missions, but like inner station box delivery missions and moving stuff out of cargo, moving my cargo around the station, like digital forklift driver, right? Like just to make credits to get your ship back on the go again. There's also a time requirement. If your ship gets destroyed, and you get put into the nearest medical facility, as an example, then you as a player, depending on your insurance, can put a claim out on your ship, right? So that claim just takes time, and what the claim will do is send a salvage team, like, it's going to spawn in a hangar, but the theoretical, right? What the player perceives is that there's a salvage claim going out for their ship, and then NPCs are kind of going out to get it, and then whatever state your poor ship is in, when it's recovered, it'll be brought into your personal hangar, destroyed in that state, right? But it takes time for it to be recovered. And then you can start repairing it yourself then, or you can just salvage it all back down in the credits and work on another ship. But you can always repair your ship. But then, you need credits or materials. Like you need to have a source of material resources stored at the station, right? Or you could put in, once again, everything in Unforgiven space is economic, so you could put in a transport order to move, those goods from one station to another, right? And every time you do that, you're actually just creating like an NPC contract. There's like a, like an NPC, virtual NPC, which is not real, but on the back end, is moving your goods for you, right, from point A to point B, and making that like transaction. So, you kind of like move stuff around, pay some credits, get your ship repaired. It's not meant to be like super punitive, but it's meant to be like an interactive way of distracting the player. In the case of like having to deal with PvP balance, like, if you get destroyed, it's going to take you a little bit to get back on your feet again, unless you have another ship, you can kind of jump into. But when you're starting, like having a lot of smaller mini games, so the player can kind of slowly build themselves up to just being able to get back to where they were. It makes them appreciate, like, when they finally have enough credits to earn a secondary ship, what that means to them. Yeah, that's right. Like, so that's the idea. Right. So anyway, so this is my thought process. Is we're going to go back to spherical, but that means I need to change space edit to handle things a little bit differently. So I want to create a building system that exists with radians, and like we have, like, the space edit is block oriented. It's a block oriented building system, but I want it to have a station mode, where in station mode we're placing segments like slices of pizza, and the segments have an auto rotation, and they kind of can duplicate themselves coming around. So you build up, right, these in high detail, segments that are just placed at origin, and they just move around, and kind of separate them. So they're kind of, they have an origin point of the center of where the spire would be, right? And we create many variations of them, and then they kind of exist radially. So, I also want to, because we have like the agriculture. I don't know what the agriculture station is in this one. Maybe not, but like, we have space farms and many other little things. Yeah, there's a lot of like missing stuff in these. So that brings us over to now, right? So now the goal is to, redesign some of these shops, get them, kind of move to the new standard. You know, get them re-imported. We're putting together a vertical slice. I wanna actually finish the promise of the $10 Patreon tier, which is, you know, on the development server. You know, players can have their own little room they can decorate. I mean, I've had it working in Unity, and I wasn't in a rush to put that feature live when porting the project to Godot, because, you know, like, systems are way more important, you know what I mean, to get working, you know, in this stage. And but I think I want to kind of go back now and work on that and get it all working and create a living vertical slice. And even if that living vertical slice stays in that state for a while, you know what I mean? Like, it's fully playable vertical slice online with the current graphics, and we just keep doing systems builds after that point, and maybe in like 3 months we do another, you know, live build that has all the newer mechanics with more final art. I want to be able to iterate fast, but still have something to showcase, if that makes sense. You know, because the systems build being all gray box makes things really fast and easy to iterate on. Right, so, yeah. No, like I gotta redo like some of this stuff on the. So these are a bit messy, but we're gonna kind of just go with it for the time being. So there's a D6. And we want to save. So we're just creating 8-meter variants now of the storefront series. And ideally, I want to make these fully dynamic, and they can be kind of split up, you know, a little bit differently. And this one's already wide, right? So maybe we'll do an extra wide one for this one, and we'll wide this one. Yeah, because this is the first one I actually made out of fully modular pieces. And the goal is eventually is these can be randomized and actually created from, you know, just different variations of themselves. How are these not one? Oh, on these? Yeah. Oh, okay. I see the I see the deal now. Yeah, I don't remember what I was using the D8 for, like for the green version. I think this was just a variation I made after the fact, just to prove, that it kind of works. And we just have like different smaller pieces that we just randomize. Kind of like do like a little geometry node that like automatically creates different variations. Like so there must be like sides with a scalable top and stuff like that. Thanks for the follow, Cyber Thinker. Is it Tinkerer? Yeah, needs cleanup, but we're not going to worry about it. So that's D8. Let's actually set this material up. Wait a second, why is that a different color? No, storefront. Yeah, that's all fine actually, so I don't know why these are not generating thumbnails. Oh, they are generating thumbnails, they're just not set up correctly. And this D8 does not look like the thumbnail is working. There we go. Actually, wait a second. B8 is missing something. So for the component store, we could probably nuke the gray box for this. Yeah, so let's extend this side by a meter. Okay, because that should still be... Yeah, these are all nodes now. So this is the old component store. Yeah, it'll give us a little bit more window room. So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So originally, like, this would have almost been fine as a small store. But now we're going to make it a little bit bigger. And this will give us like 4 meters for some of the bigger stuff. A little bit more play. So we're going to extend this window by 1 unit. And then we're going to extend this window by whatever the remainder is. And we might end up with something similar on each side. I want it to be a little bit offset, you know. So we'll make it a bit wider and align it to 16. I do want to have a couple more display like shelves. Yeah, and then we'll like eventually re-import this again, because I want to make sure that these are all turned into assets too, like the little shelves. These are like very loosely put together and kind of, you know, kind of rough. And we want to kind of go with this new idea of separating all the storefronts that we can kind of dynamically randomize. Like I should be able to, there's not like all the storefront is an inner set of walls and then random placement of things. This is where the editing tool comes in, right? The editing tool, we should be able to place many different variations of these things. So it's going to be a lot bigger. But bigger is definitely going to be much better than having to deal with it, you know, being too small, you know? Because half of that, if we were going to kind of keep like an equal station, like where we kind of enter. We'll leave that offset. Oh, why are they this same thing? Yeah, these here need to be fixed because they're stopping our bevel from looking good. I'm not going to worry about it right now. I just want to get it all working. I'm just going to call this inside. We'll use a white. This will be A16. All right, let's say 16 done. You're off to bed. Have a good one, Munglo. Thanks for popping by. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fine. I was gonna work on it, you know, like just I know very soon, you know what I mean? Like we'll have a lot of this together. So I just had to balance my time a little bit. So in 20 minutes, I'm gonna switch over to the game, and we're gonna do a new main menu. There was a main menu. I segmented my scene resources to take the build into consideration when mapping the I pretty much created a whole naming convention so I can keep both resources in the main project for like what scenes are like in the production version versus what scenes are in the regular version. And because they're just path references, like the scene name is a name string or a string name, and then there's just a path. It doesn't give any errors that the path doesn't exist. So I just want to have two different main menus, you know, for the systems project versus final project, and start cleaning things up, making it more appealing. So, like, all these stores should be brought into their own, their own folders, right? Like, this is all very hodgepodgey from the Unity days. I can't wait to redo the bar. Like, so I think we're gonna switch to a lot more art. Now that a buddy of mine is gonna be helping with some of the, my brain is not thinking. Some of the project management. We want to like break out a lot of this stuff. Yeah, so now we have much more room, and then what I want to do is kind of go in. Because I moved the walls in a little bit so they wouldn't conflict with Z fighting, but we now know we're 0.25 no matter what. So we can start honoring our own metrics, right, that we've created for the rules of things. And a lot of this stuff was just cosmetic, like we don't really need. This is me measuring out things, you know. And I do want to revisit these kiosks. And that, like, we'll do a whole like kiosk set where we can dynamically create, you know, more kiosks. So we'll put it at 16. And then we'll back it up. There we go. And what are you there? What is this? Where are we like off? There's like an extra 0.5 on that. See, now we have so much room to kind of play around with. What do you guys think will be a cool name for a component store? For selling ship components. I'll leave it up to you guys. It's a ship component store. Store medium components. We're going to do a duplication with a full copy. This one's going to be called design, so we have a little bit more freedom. This will be not the one that gets exported in the Godot. This is one where we actually bring in all of these linked scenes and actually get a feel, you know, for this. Why is that not transparent? Oh, there we go. Right, no arcade machine. Oh. Oh, okay, so the arcade machine is actually a separate project. Okay, I'm gonna re-import this thing into Blender so we actually have it. I think the prop should go underneath the individual. Instead of having like massive store props, it should be specific. So for the arcade, right, store medium arcade. Yeah, I'll save it here with the textures folder as a child. We'll have to remake the materials. No roughness, I just speculate. It's a terrible asset, but you know, I do want to like get it all back into Blender so we can actually make better versions of it in the future. So now we have our arcade machine, and then we just triangulate all these faces in the quads again. Oh, UVs are kind of weird. Oh, whatever. It's good enough. Arcade machine is good. Alright, it's 11. Let's go work on the main menu real quick. Alright, okay, so for main menu, systems, I have main menu landing. Yay, we have a main menu. A terrible one. Unable to do vaccine. Main menu ready. No ref exception. Oh, because the main menu has a whole bunch of stuff in it. Yeah, we don't really care. We want all this to be user controllable. Yeah, so we're really going to use our scene manager instance to do all this stuff, other than the exit, maybe. I wonder if we want to do a diegetic menu for this. Yeah, I know why these fail. Scenes, test scenes. This will be doing testing. And this button will be doing testing. Because right now, all I care about in this build is we can go to this scene right here and buy our actual components and put them on the inner habitation area. Oh, okay, I see. Wait, why are we not getting it from just the main scene tree? Yeah, UI is in UI. Usually cursor is okay. Main menu is missing the asteroid scenes that we don't care about. Oh wow, this is so old. Yeah, this UI. Oh yeah, so it's because, yeah, okay. This ship is disabled, that's right. That's why it's messing up. That's fine. The ship component panel still keeps trying to find the wrong thing. Why do I not see that cargo area? Wait, why is the cargo area there? So the ship component panel is messed up here in the scene. And something is still looking for the ship cargo area. For this guy. It should be called ship cargo area by name. Oh, okay. I see what. Yeah. This needs to be a ship cargo area and not a cargo area. Crap. And they're the ship components panel. So there's 2 ship component panels. Ship component resource has a pack scene reference. That's not right. So it's not the ship purchase panel. So there's a ship component store, which is this one. Tri-laser mini component, power plant, fuel scoop. Okay, but they're the gray box versions. Maybe. Yeah, they're all the gray box versions. So we need a non-gray box version for the prototypes. This is a different store. I want to get a build going. What I would have done. Now the menu works, I can get into this test scene. We'll just do a build real quick. So these components, tri-lasers work. Mining lasers work. Power plant fails. Okay, so power plant fails. Fuel scoops. Okay, so intake. Fuel scoop. Oh, thanks.
I don't know where to put it.
Just right there. Yeah, so we'll switch those out some more. Yeah, I'm gonna go get some late night food real quick and probably get ready and raid someone. But this is what we'll be working on pretty much during the week, is making another variant of this with the main truck stop. Like a ring version of the truck stop, pretty much, with some more details. Because I'm thinking we could do like pretty much 2 habitation wings, 1 store wing, 1 service wing, and you know, it'll be pretty much self-contained. One little random station we can throw in as a test station. So that'd be cool. Lots to do. So I'm gonna end it here on YouTube, and then I'm gonna go and we're gonna find something to raid.